Inside her home studio, Marcy Davis rarely takes a break once she begins this artistic journey.
Once I start the process, unless you're dying or limbs are falling off, I don't stop.
That's because sculpting with concrete is a delicate task, one where time and quick cleanup are essential.
It's actually kind of a lengthy process, and it's a very physical process, but I truly love every part of it.
Her work creating concrete structures that look like real wood. It's a popular style in home goods and furnishings, but it is also an art form called faux bois.
Faux bois is literally false wood in French, but the French call it rocaille. They don't actually call it faux bois. And the froissement is the iron. It's the armature that you're building to hold the structure of what you're doing. So the full term is froissement faux bois.
With her master's degree in fine arts from Washington University, Davis had been designing jewelry for galleries and high-end stores using her expertise in metalsmithing. But she craved something more.
I just didn't think it was my medium, and I was trying different things.
She realized inspiration for a new art form surrounded her West County home.
We have so much technology. I think we want to kind of ground ourselves, and what better way to ground yourself than wood and nature.
So Marcy studied faux bois under an instructor in Texas and then began her own journey, first creating branches, then branching out to larger items like tables and chairs.
Something just clicked, and I live here in this beautiful surrounding of woods, and it just seemed like something I wanted to try to do.
Her background in drawing helps as she meticulously creates her ideas on paper first.
I like to sketch large. I have a lot of chalkboards, and so I will do a large drawing of whatever I'm doing, and then I cut the rebar to match whatever I come up with two-dimensionally, and then I bend and weld the rebar to come up with the armature that I'm interested in covering. It's really like a skeletal system for the piece. It's like you're building your bones, your structure, and on that skeletal piece, you have to put the steel lath that's going to hold the concrete. You need something to hold the concrete to the skeleton of the piece. I wrap that steel lath around the armature, and then I tie it off every few inches with stainless steel wire.
Davis uses two separate studio spaces in her home, one to create the skeleton of her pieces and one where she formulates, mixes, and sculpts.
Yeah, concrete is inherently not strong on its own. It actually wants to slump, and that was the first thing that I had to learn with my formulas, is how to create concrete that won't just slump and fall off. The rough coat has two different types of sand. It has super plasticizer, fibers. I might put two different fibers. My formulas change from time to time. If I'm working very vertical, I will usually add microsilica because it makes the concrete a little stickier.
There are no faux bois tools in art stores. She creates them on her own.
I generally go to Goodwill or and look for different kinds of combs, kitchen utensils, pizza cutters, anything I can find, and I've made a lot of tools.
Fabricating each piece base takes time.
I go into what I consider a completely separate art form, is putting the coloring on. I'm working with versions of muriatic acid and Russ, and they are permanent, and they react with the lime and the concrete.
Davis constructs all kinds of pieces which look like wood. Benches, tables, even her own mailbox is held up by a concrete sculpture. She also considers Adirondack chairs her specialty.
I really work hard at designing the seat so that you sit back in it, so it has that nice angle, and then I actually sculpt the seat to kind of fit your rear end into. And I've also learned, so where I'm making it look like different pieces of wood, I also make kind of weep holes so that the water, when it rains, because it's going to be outside, is not going to sit in that seat.
The pieces are quite heavy and last for years. Faux bois is time and labor intensive, and prices generally reflect that. An end table might cost you about $2,000, and prices for custom or larger pieces go up from there. Davis's pieces are featured on her website and Instagram under Marcella Marie Faux Bois. She has expanded into larger custom projects, including this faux bois rail for a client's large outdoor stairway. The concrete offers the look of wood without the hassle.
It doesn't rot. It has a very long lifespan. It's durable. It's not going to blow away.
No two pieces are alike, and Davis sometimes sneaks in a small animal on her pieces, a nod to the connection with nature that fuels her passion.
And I think a lot of us are wanting to kind of simplify and go back to real things. So when we can hold a real piece of pottery or concrete or wood or something and have something real in our lives, besides it being art and one of a kind and an expression of nature and Marcy and whatever, it just seems to work.